Okay, so there's a lot of hype going around right now about Arc 2, about the new Fjordur map, about the animated series, and it makes sense with all of that hype that there would be a lot of speculation, maybe some leaks from the developers, and we're hoping for maybe a new release date or something like that coming very soon. But because of all the hype, there's also a lot of misinformation out there. And even Cedric and some of the other devs have come out and said that there was some information that got spread around that got people a little bit confused. So I'm making this video to try and set the record straight. What do we really know about Arc 2 so far? Or in other words, what has been confirmed about Arc 2 versus what are some theories we might have or some reasonable assumptions that we could make about the game? First off, real quick, let's talk about the animated series. We don't have a ton of information about the animated series other than what is presented here on this poster. We've got some big names for voice acting like Vin Diesel, Russell Crowe, even Gerard Butler. We don't have any release dates yet for the animated series. We're hoping as fans that it might come out sometime this summer or fall. But as far as we know, there is no official release date yet. They have said, however, that the animated series will be released on HBO Max. And if you haven't seen the trailer yet, it's definitely worth checking out. All right, that's enough about the animated series. Let's talk about Arc 2. First off, if you haven't read the lore or watched some summary videos of the lore of Arc 1, I highly recommend that you do that before Arc 2 comes out because Arc 2 is going to be following the same story. There were some rumors coming out that people said that Arc 2 was going to be a prequel to Arc 1. I don't think it makes any sense for Arc 2 to be a prequel. I think it makes a lot more sense for it to be a sequel, and there's a lot of evidence pointing to that. And I don't know if this needs to be said, but real quick, spoiler alert, because we are talking about Arc 2, so I am going to be talking about some of the Arc 1 lore, and if you didn't know it already, you're about to know it. So if you don't want to know it yet, stop watching the video. Evidence to the fact that Arc 2 will be a sequel can be found in the Arc 2 trailer, as well as the ending Genesis 2 cinematic after you beat Rockwell Prime. You can see Santiago come out of his new cloning pod, so he's been respawned again, as he says, after the Genesis ship is completely destroyed. All of these escape pods that you can see flying down towards the planet are ejected with multiple different types of life forms stored in them that were all stored on the Genesis ship. And basically at the very end, we, as the survivor, as well as Santiago and the dinosaurs, all crash land onto this exoplanet, which fulfills one of the big missions of the reason the Genesis ship was created in the first place. It was sent off into space with all of this life and technology to find an inhabitable planet and then deposit life there when it was ready. Another thing that has been hinted at by the devs and other people speculating about Arc 2 is that it will be more PvE and story based. They mentioned this a little bit in the Twitch live that they did about a year ago in November. And while we know it's going to be more primitive and some people have said no tech, I don't necessarily believe that there will be no tech. In the Arc 2 trailer, we do see that Santiago interacts with some type of holographic mechanism that has his name on it and shows like his cloning DNA or something. But if you pay close attention to that trailer, you'll see that Vin Diesel or Santiago chooses the option to purge the system. So that might be a little bit of a hint to the Arc 2 story. Perhaps we'll be trying to get rid of all element or tech in that story, or any remnants of that might have crashed down on the planet. This would make sense, seeing as in the Arc 1 lore, Santiago is kind of fed up with tech and element. He's kind of seen what it did to Earth. He was alive on Earth when the Great War over element kind of destroyed the entire Earth and the element infestation happened. So we can reasonably assume that might tie into the story, and that maybe Santiago at least does not like element or tech, even though he himself is a genius tech engineer. I've also gotten the question, is Arc 2 going to just be Arc 1, but with more maps and better graphics? Seeing as Arc 2 takes place on an exoplanet, or we assume it does, I don't think we're going to be seeing any repeat maps or any of the arcs come into play. That doesn't mean they couldn't later for some kind of DLC, or maybe we'll go back to Earth or go check out the arcs again for some reason, but I just don't see that happening. As far as some theories that I have about Arc 2, I already mentioned that we might be on a mission to destroy or get rid of tech and element because of Santiago. That might be some kind of quest or mission that we go on. But other than that, the main story will probably surround surviving on this new exoplanet. In the Arc 2 trailer, we even see some strange humanoids that might be the corrupted or changed survivors that Rockwell Prime created. I don't think Rockwell is going to return. It seems pretty clear that he is dead or has died, but it is possible that some of his creations have survived and are living on that exoplanet with us, and part of the story and conflict might be surviving them or finding a way to defeat them or coexist with them. One really cool bit of info that isn't talked about a lot is that during the Twitch live, some of the devs did mention that we will see the return of some characters that we really love. And the names Mei Yin and Diana were mentioned. I can't remember if they said specifically that these people will return, but it was highly hinted at that we might see Mei Yin and Diana return in Arc 2.
Will we be seeing a return of Mei Yin and Diana from Genesis 2? Or in Genesis 2,
Ooh,
excuse me.
that's a spoiler question.
Absolutely.
I don't necessarily want to spoil that one.
I will say that
I agree. I'm a spoiler. I do not. Okay, so let me ask you another question.
well,
No
I can sort of non-answer it, but answer it. Gen 2 is definitely a bridge to Arc 2. That's kind of, we've said that story-wise. So we're focusing a little bit on characters you haven't seen before and some new storylines and stuff like that. But I will say it's not the last that you will hear about Mei Yin and Diana. So if you're not satisfied with what's happening with them or not in Gen 2, there'll be more down the line. Those are some of our core characters in the franchise.
Which makes sense because if someone like Santiago, who had been dead for a while, was respawned again at the end of Genesis 2, it makes sense that possibly in some of those other escape pods, Mei Yin, Diana, and some other characters were respawned as well. As far as maps go, the best sneak peek we have is in the Arc 2 trailer, and like I said, we're probably not going to see a repeat of the Arc maps, but I assume that any maps or DLCs will just kind of open up other sections on the planet, because if you think about it, a planet is a huge space, so you could fit many different biomes, many different maps, all within that exoplanet. You don't need to have a bunch of arcs, you don't need to have spaceships, but what I think would be really cool is if we could see Earth as it is now after the events on Extinction, when we actually saved Earth and it was repopulated. I think it'd be cool to go back. I don't know if that's going to happen in Arc 2, but it would be cool. Another question asked a lot is, will Arc 2 be better? Can we expect there to be a lot of bugs and crashes? I personally am of the opinion that it will be better. It is being built from scratch or from the bottom up on Unreal Engine 5. I'm pretty sure they're going to be using a different base code. I think one of the biggest problems with Arc 1 is that they were a bit of a smaller company at the time, and Arc as a project was a little bit too ambiguous for its time. But with Unreal Engine 5, with them partnering or in collaboration with Microsoft and Xbox, and a lot of the people that were working on Arc 1 are a lot more experienced now, so I have high hopes that Arc 2 is going to be a lot better. Now, when Arc 2 was originally announced, they announced that it would be released on Xbox and PC, but they didn't say anything at the time about PlayStation and other systems. Now, there's some rumors going around about the CEO of Arc saying that, oh, it's going to be coming out on PS5, it's going to be coming out on Stadia and Switch or something like that.
As you can see here, Doug commented on my previous video saying Arc 2 will be coming to all platforms in time, including PlayStation and Nintendo platforms.
But as far as we know, none of that has been confirmed by the devs on any of their official accounts. So for now, all we know is it will come out on PC and Xbox, most likely on Steam, and it's for PlayStation maybe later. And last but not least, if you're interested, they have released some of the animated series and Arc 2 soundtrack done by Gareth Coker on YouTube on the official Arc channel. So if you want to listen to that, it's really awesome. Go check it out. The devs also said that very soon we should be getting more information on Arc 2. We just don't know what that information is yet. We don't know exactly when it's going to come. There have been rumors that during the new Xbox Bethesda showcase that they're going to be showing Arc 2, but that has not been confirmed. So I guess we will see. And that's it for this video, guys. If you found this helpful in any way, please like, comment, subscribe. Or if you have any corrections or other comments you want to make, please discuss them in the comments below. There might have been something big that I missed. There could have been something that I said wrong. Feel free to correct me. But anyway, hopefully we'll get more information on Arc 2 soon, and when we do, I'll keep you guys updated.